Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. You can text us on 8 12 15, or you can follow us on Twitter, of all things, at Frank on Absolute. I think we're also on Facebook, MySpace. I'm on LinkedIn, if you really want to
You're on Friends,
dig deep.
Friends Reunited as well.
Friends Reunited.
Yeah.
I'm on under Albury Technical School, if you want to go in deep on that one. Don't think there's a photograph. There is some photographs of me, but not from school.
Yeah.
Weird. I think that's about all the social networking you can get us on. Bebo. Is something called Bebo?
No, but there's Pinterest and Tumblr. You haven't even gone there.
No. And I'm on Grindr.
Oh.
Get over it. So, welcome to old listeners who've lived through the winter. And
when you say welcome to old listeners who've lived through the winter, that sounds like it's the title of the show. Welcome to old listeners who've lived through the winter.
Oh God, actually, I thought I've got the wrong script. Hold on. That's the thing I'm doing on 5 Live about care in the community. That could have been for a difficult morning. And if there's any new listeners, gets better than this. Come back with.
Usually,
I've gone to Capital. You don't want to do that, do you?
No.
It's rubbish.
Frank.
So I tell you what I've noticed as we move into a new year, 2013. Unlucky for some, if you know what I'm saying. Is there doesn't seem to be those conversations that one normally has this time of the year about what people's New Year's resolutions are. Is it dying out, the New Year's resolution phase?
Oh, I see what you mean.
I've had a few of those conversations.
Have you?
But,
perhaps I just.
Well, that was in your weekly meeting.
I blame the Mayan civilization. People weren't looking ahead; they all thought it was going to end.
This is the year we don't need one.
So the world didn't end on the 21st of December, and people have had to scrape together some last-minute resolutions. They haven't given it the normal thought. But no one's. I don't know. Have you guys made any?
I've got a couple.
That wasn't like a radio question. I honestly don't know.
That wasn't like Des O'Connor. I couldn't possibly sing.
Des O'Connor used to say things like, "So, you've had a bit of trouble with your neighbours." like you'd say that out the blue. What do you mean you want me to do my troublesome neighbours material? Why don't you just say that? Why don't you say, do your troublesome neighbours material? And I'll be like the audience and laugh, and you do the material.
I've got a few, Frank.
Troublesome neighbours?
No, resolutions.
Proper ones?
Yes.
Okay.
My first one is, I'm going to do what I call a bit more of a Skinner in the mornings, which is...
Oh dear, it's been embarrassing. No. I don't even remember telling her about that.
No.
It's a Skinner euphemism, what's that?
Well, it doesn't involve the Calvin Classics.
Oh.
What it involves is jumping out of bed. Don't hit the snooze button, basically.
No.
All right.
Phone at the other end of the room and get out in 3 strides or less. 3 actions, I'm sorry. Duvet off, 1 foot out, press the alarm off.
I do a little count to myself.
Do you?
I go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I have to get up or I'll have a heart attack.
It's a bit Thunderbirds.
That's what I've told myself, that if I don't get up, I'll have a heart attack and die, and it'll be my own fault.
And is your alarm set every day for a particular time every day? Do you have it?
No, it's...
Right.
What do you think I am, a nutcase? I set it for when I need to get up that day.
Okay.
If I don't need to get up, sometimes I don't even set it at all.
Oh, really?
That's how I live my life.
How exciting.
Yeah.
And also, Frank, I'm getting a bit Skinner now. I'm going to have 4 days off alcohol every week. That makes it sound like I've got a problem.
I dream of 4 days off.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I dream of 3 days on.
I think I once read that Melvin Bragg takes the first 7 days of every month off alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank has really taken you and raised you on that. 25 years and counting, isn't it? That's a big chunk.
I'm wondering now. So does that mean for the rest of the month Melvin Bragg is drinking like a wild man?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's the general idea.
Oh, okay.
This means you have got some, Frank.
I think it's a good thing to do.
So what have you got?
I try to move mine around a bit, so I do them at other times in the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you something that happened to me, though. on the subject of New Year's, get this. Yesterday, I was writing the date down, and instead of 2013, I wrote 2012.
No.
Like it was...
Wow.
You blithering idiot.
You know, if you put that in a sitcom, people would think it was too far-fetched. They wouldn't
You should
accept
save
it.
that for your Des Connor appearance.
Oh, man.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I'm thinking I might start pickling my own herring
Oh, yeah.
as a New Year's resolution.
It's a bit Ibsen.
Lovely.
I had pickled herring over the Yuletide season, as I suppose we all did. And
Was it a roll mop or just the standard pickled
no,
herring?
it wasn't. It was. I'm always worried about the staking of the roll mop, that I might. It might go to the roof of my mouth.
Inadvertently eat a wooden stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant pickled herring. It's one of the best things. I'd put it ahead of the National Health Service as things that I really, really love. I'm thinking I'm coming to the process a bit late, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's already done. I'm like, it's not... You know, people used to do jokes about the Americans entering World War II a bit like. That's how I am with pickled herring.
Yeah, it's
And
like
I'd
a
like
young
to be
man's
there.
game, like.
I don't really know what the pickling process is, so I'm going to look into it, and I'm going to pickle my own herring in 2013.
Okay.
If anyone tunes into that now, that is not a euphemism. Yeah, and I'll let you know how that goes, because I don't think it's just about putting it in vinegar. I think there's some other spices and things going on there.
No, I think there is more to it, yeah. But, you know, last year was sort of the year that bacon became cool.
I thought it was going to say it was the year of the herring, and I missed it.
No, I think last year
There'll be
was
a
the
National
year of-
Herring Week.
Last
surely.
year was the year of baking, but I think this year could well have a gap there. Like, it could be the pickling year.
I think of myself as someone who's slightly ahead of the...
You're definitely ahead of the curve
Yeah,
on the...
I am.
On the pickling, definitely. Yeah.
I do. I think you see, this time next year, I'm going to play this back when there's like the Great British Pickling TV show and stuff. Everyone will be pickling herring like there's no tomorrow.
On that subject, how did you do last year with your New Year's resolution, which I believe was the water, wasn't it? You were going to give the water drinking a real try.
Yes,
Was
I
it?
2 litres a day was my that was my target. It's a lot.
It turns out it is quite
It is
a lot.
quite a lot. I got litre mixed up with teaspoon. I did it for about 3 or 4 days of that, and I went to the toilet quite a lot.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
it will have that effect.
Yeah, but someone said if you stick with it, your body gets used to it, and more of it is absorbed. In the end, you just absorb water like that. You know, cheap ham.
Yeah.
And pump it with water to
Oh,
put the
don't
weight on.
compare yourself to that. You're a lovely man.
I am a cheap ham.
Lovely man.
But what I did, I thought, after about 5 days, I thought I need the cavalry to come and rescue me here.
Oh, yeah.
So I bought a bottle of Robinson's lemon barley water.
Yes. If you were a drink, that's what you'd be.
Well, I love it.
I know.
And I think you are drinking water, but you've just... You know the way the Olympics sort of sweetened the vicious cuts in public services? That's what Robinson's barley does for drinking that 2 litres of water a day. But I never got quite back to the 2 litres. I'd say I drink somewhere between a glass and none a day now.
Right.
So when you look back at 2012, it wasn't like you don't think of it as the year of the water.
No, it's not like Waterworld.
Right.
No. But, you know, I might have another go at that. The trouble is, a couple of people tell me it wasn't true as well. That it's not good for you to drink that much.
Oh, really?
Which people? Pete Doherty said that.
Well, no. Apparently, it can do something to your spinal column and knock you out.
Water?
Yeah, if you have too much, it's like drowning. You can drown on land if you
Sure,
have
that
to
wasn't
drink.
a conversation about the seat on the BMW.
Honestly, you can drown on land if you drink too much water.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, the trouble is, if you drown on land, is that if you drown at sea, or if you're drowning at sea, people who rescue you, they know the problem instantly. But if someone saw me lying on the streets of London, they're not going to think. Well, they're going to think he started drinking again. But they're not going to think water. They're not going to think he's drowning. We better give him the artificials.
No.
No, they're going to think it's something else. By the time they're probably going to think I didn't get out of bed at the count of 10. I've had a heart attack.
That's it.
So, I'm frightened. But I've got an ecological resolution. Because I think we should all,
do our bit.
We should all do our bit. But I want to play some adverts first because I think they're the best thing about this station.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So ecologically, I'm thinking, I can't believe no one's ever thought of this before. I'm only going to flush the toilet last thing before I go to bed.
Oh, disgusting.
Well, I've never been round to your place, but
What
I'm
happened
not
throughout
so
the day?
keen now. Not so
Why?
keen. Well, it's going to smell like a festival, isn't it? As you
I don't
walk
think
past
it's
the
going
toilet.
to smell as bad as the decaying corpses of polar bears, if you don't mind me saying.
Have you got them in your flat as well?
Well, we all will if we don't do something soon.
They're quite aggressive anyway.
Just leave it.
I don't think the polar bears are going to get to London. Mind you, you're close to the Thames, aren't
but
you?
you see, it's all... This is how it starts. Some people say, oh, no, don't recycle, it's not worth it. Oh, no, just flush your toilet when you feel like it. Next thing you know, end of the world.
Well, why don't we meet halfway where instead of just flushing right at the end of the day, you only flush on solids? That's like camping rules or something.
This is nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
So glad I
You
came
brought
back
it
to
up.
this.
No, I didn't bring it up with... I didn't start breaking it down into categories.
Breaking it
To
down.
me, it was the toilet. It was an abstract world, the toilet.
I don't like ecology either.
No. You don't like ecology?
No,
I know what you
anything
mean. It's-
environment or ecology.
I know what you
don't
mean.
know.
It's a bit junior school project. It is, isn't it? It's pictures on the wall of the
I'm all
Earth.
for saving the
and
planet, but it's it's the approach that's made and the way it's done.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to do it in a slightly more chic way.
Yeah.
Has Alan got any resolutions?
Yeah, I'm going to get my ears widened. You know those big circles that the youth get?
Yeah.
I've always fancied it. I think I'll look good. And nothing, it's
Have you
time
had it
to do
done?
it. Yeah, these are my headphones.
Oh, those are your headphones?
Oh, actually, yeah, I
Really
work in
through.
radio, so the wound will probably put me off the show for a couple
How
of
big
weeks.
are you going to
wouldn't
go?
it? As big as, I'd say like probably a Petri dish size.
Are you going Sting size?
That'd be
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
We could meet up for table tennis. You can just sort of toss your head and hit a return.
Actually, during the show, I could take, while we've got the long songs on, I could take my headphones off and you could little flick balls of paper through there or something like little basketball. game.
I don't think you're sincere about this.
Well, tune in next week.
Okay, I'd love
All right.
to see you with those. That'd be brilliant.
Probably not going to get that done.
I know people that can help out with the surgery. Just let me know.
I'll
But
tell
see,
you my
this is
more-
what I mean. It seems that Alan doesn't have a proper resolution.
I've
They're
got,
di-
I've
they're
got
dying
two,
out.
actually. I've got two
By
proper
the way, if there's any
resolutions.
listeners that have got an interesting resolution that's a bit unusual, not just like lose weight, stop drinking, stop, hitting people, then send that in, because
I've got a good tip for people that haven't got a resolution. I think if you're like a neutral, can I just suggest looking where you're going? Because a lot of people seem to have lost that skill, and if you haven't got a New Year's resolution, just take that and the world will be a better place.
I don't know if I agree with it. I think they do look, but I think people are so insecure in their lives that they think if I move slightly for this person, I've lowered myself.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a low status
So
move.
every time you pass someone, it's a confrontation to prove your worth.
Yeah, but I bet Bruce Lee stepped out of the way for people. You don't need to
well,
feel
exactly.
like
He didn't
it's-
need to prove his worth, did he?
Exactly. Let's all just be a bit more... Anyway.
so
here's
let's all
my-
be a bit more like Bruce Lee.
My New Year's resolution, I'm going to tell you, not really the ears widened, because I think that will hamper my actual New Year's resolution, is last year yours was the water. This year, 2013, for Alan Cochrane, is going to be the year of the sleep. I'm going to prioritise sleep. I'm going to have some really big sleeps.
What kind of a New Year's resolution is that?
It's a good resolution.
I'm going to do less, is
No,
your New Year's
I'm gonna
resolution.
I'm going to do more sleeping.
It's like having this conversation with a bear.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a great year. You know those
You're not
sleeps that
sick.
you have?
That's not a resolution. It's supposed to be something you strive for. More sleep.
Exactly, I'm striving for more sleep. I'm going to prioritise sleep. I'm going to go to bed that half an hour earlier instead of staying up and shouting at Question Time or BBC Three. I'm going to...
Oh, God forbid you should learn something.
What, BBC Three?
You won't learn anything from Question Time, though, do you?
I
Really?
thought you were very good on it, actually.
Yeah,
I think it would be great. You know those big sleeps where you feel like you've properly pressed your reset button? I feel like you, Frank Skinner, have those every single night because you prioritise sleep.
Not. Not with Buzz, surely.
I
Well,
woke
maybe not
up
now, yeah.
I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning and couldn't get back to sleep.
Me too. It's been a bad
Oh, did you
start
go
to my
to-
resolution.
Did you
Yeah.
go to Sophisticats, Frank? I've told you to stop doing that now. You've got a kiddie.
No,
Makes me ill.
I lay awake thinking about stuff, but I didn't think about pressing stuff or anything that was worrying me. I just thought about very general things I'd seen on the telly, what I might wear today, stuff. I mean, the most mundane stuff that kept me awake for 2 hours.
It's kind of like small talk insomnia. I know those moments.
Sometimes you just think, okay, I could try and get back to sleep, but I wouldn't mind just having a bit of a think in the dark.
I love a think in the dark.
Yeah, how often
don't.
do we ever think in the dark nowadays?
Too often, my mind whirs.
Yeah, some people only think in the dark. And that's why they won't move out the way.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank,
What is it?
I would like to talk about Gerard Depardieu.
Gerard Depardieu.
Have you been reading about him?
Who hasn't? He's been all over the papers like a big Frenchman.
Well, he has. Because
Does he look like, if Paul Merson was on a desert island for 3 years, would he look like Gerard Depardieu?
I'd give it 3 days. Maybe.
Yeah.
Too much tiramisu. Gerard doesn't look like the type to say, "Oh no, I won't have seconds," does he?
No.
I like that in him, though.
Yeah, he's
Bit
always...
pleasure-loving, bacchanalian.
He's a bullish character.
Definitely bacchanalian, yeah.
Yeah,
Good call.
but he's a Rusky now, isn't he?
Yeah, in case you don't know this story, he's become Russian. He said he was fed up because of the tax system in France.
Yeah.
And Vladimir Putin said, and I quote, "If you'd like to have a Russian passport, consider it settled." See, that's how the Russians do stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Can I
brilliant.
just say, I love their immigration laws.
It's brilliant. It's
I
like a
love the fact
gypsy
that-
horse fair. All in cash.
I love the fact they did that and then didn't get bogged down in 3 months'
Bogged
worth
down.
of paperwork.
I think he's still working. Exactly. That's the way to do it. I bet Mohammed Al-Fayed saw that and thought, why didn't the British do that for me?
Where was my consider it settled?
Yeah, it was,
Ironic, really, isn't it? Because you'd think the Russians would be a country that would go for red tape, wouldn't they? It would work for them, wouldn't it?
this way.
Red tape.
Quite 70s as well, I like that.
I paid. I went into motorway services over the holiday, and they hadn't got the machine wasn't working, and I had to pay for petrol in cash. It felt
yeah.
great.
Oh, did you
Felt
like that?
so 70s.
It's a good job you had it, though.
It was. I was lucky I had it because I'd already filled the car.
Oh.
It's like 58 quid. And at the end of it, the woman said, "You can put this in one of your shows." Sure enough.
Here we are.
Yeah.
We'll get a good 25 minutes out of that.
No, I think it's fair enough, isn't it, Depardieu goes to Russia? It's the January window.
Well, the
He's
French,
allowed to move.
the French Prime Minister, I was going to say his name and then I realised I will sound like a middle-class parent trying to teach their child French, but he is called Jean-Marc Ayrault.
Oh, I
his name.
love that.
Very good.
That's the sexiest thing ever.
Oh, I'll say it again. Jean-Marc Ayrault. He said he described it as shabby behaviour, didn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't like. He's not a fan of
I like that,
defection.
though.
But I think that was why Depardieu went in the end, because the Prime Minister had called his decision shabby. And he was like, "You don't speak about me. You're the Prime Minister. You've got other stuff to do." And so he went, "Right, I'm off."
Wasn't shabby behaviour the informer in Starsky and Hutch?
Is that right?
Yeah, I think that was his name. I think there's something great about suddenly in middle age thinking, "Oh, I might be another nationality."
I like how confused it is as well, because he's a Frenchman who's moved to Belgium and become Russian.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't
I
it?
can see the lure of Russia, though. I think it was Peter Sellers who said in that film, "All those cornfields and ballet in the evenings."
Yeah.
It would be lovely.
I think Gerard has perhaps fallen in love with old Russia, the sort of Rasputin Russia.
Yeah, yes.
And
He
it's
played
all-
Rasputin,
There's
didn't
an
he?
Well, he
excellent picture of
did,
him
yes.
playing Rasputin.
But it's all sort of Gullwing Mercedes now. It's different now, isn't it?
When I
It's
say he played Rasputin, I don't mean in the World Badminton Championships. I mean he played the part for Rasputin.
not- would you go? Would you
He
go
was a
Russian?
bit of a character. No, I'd if I had a
You could
choice.
change your nationality.
Well, I've often thought this. I'd be German.
Really?
Definitely.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, I think
controversial.
They're the closest to the British, aren't they? The Germans. Don't you
It's
think?
not closest to the royal family, surely.
I think they're closest. You know, it would be no good me taking on something Latino. I haven't got the temperament for it. I've got that sort
You're
of,
not Latino.
I've got that reserve of the Germans with a
Discipline.
little added bit of acceptance of public nudity, which I wouldn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I would. That would be my choice. Yeah. And also, it's one of those nationalities that you really want to have arrived late.
Yes.
Ideally, don't you? You don't
Yeah.
want to. Yeah, you can say I didn't come till 2013. Don't blame me.
Yeah,
It's a good
you want to
time
be
to be
late to the
German.
party.
Yeah. But no, that would be. If anyone listening, what would you be if you could change your nationality?
Are we asking them that instead of their New Year's resolution? What
Well,
would you...
we can do it all.
That's a good
I think
texting, I like it.
I like it. You know, do you ever think you must fantasise about being?
100%. I'd go Greek. People often mistake me for a member of the Greek royal family. I think I could be that. I like the food. I'd be very wealthy in their terms now, wouldn't I?
You would.
Yeah.
I could see you as a.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. I might go Brazilian.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, you were talking earlier about one of your potential ecological initiatives.
Flush once a day, end of the
Yeah.
day. Last thing before you go to bed. Clean your teeth, flush, good night.
Certainly will be good night.
Actually, maybe I'll flush and then clean my teeth. Carry on.
Kaz says, Frank, leave the water in the bath after you've had the bath, then pour a bucket of it down the toilet, then everyone happy. No dead bears, no smell to offend guests.
The trouble is, I tend to shower instead of bath, which is a problem with that. The only time I have a bath is when I get in with my baby. And if I then throw the water in the toilet, I suspect my girlfriend is going to say, why are the baby's toys
Oh, yeah.
from the bath in the toilet? Why is the squirty frog in the toilet with all your unflushed waste?
Oh, talking of the baby's toys, how's Monsieur Gingham getting on? I meant to ask.
Oh, I'd say he's taking a bit of a back seat.
Has he?
Yeah, you know,
Oh,
they're very
I had
fickle.
high hopes for him.
They're very fickle babies, and yeah, I'm afraid Monsieur Gingham is he's a forgotten man.
Oh.
Well, he's elephant or mouse,
Yeah.
forgotten. Perhaps can an elephant be forgotten? Certainly not by other elephants.
This is
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had some nominations for potential nationalities people would like to change to.
Okay.
Glenn in Lincoln. I would definitely be Canadian. Everyone likes the Canadians.
That's true, actually. They're seen as kind of civilised, but they also get some of that
Seen as a bit...
sophistication of
yes.
the Americans.
And we say rather arrogantly, oh, you've got humour more like us.
Yeah, they're sort of like bright Americans.
Yeah. Americans that paid attention at school.
Thin, bright Americans. That's what Canadians
Well, Glenn
Not so
goes
sure
on
they're
to
all
say,
that thin, yeah.
except for maybe Americans, and that makes being from Canada even more appealing.
I think even Americans like Canadians, don't they? Everybody likes them. Whereas my choice, the Germans, less popular.
Well,
Still more popular than the British.
yeah.
What about you, Al? I see you as... You know, I've always seen you in a Scandi way.
It's got to be Scando, hasn't it? I've got to be some
That's
form
quite
of
cool as
Scandinavian.
well.
Oh, I
Scandinavian.
love you as a Scandi.
Danish. I could do the Danish, although they've probably got as high a tax bracket as Gerard Depardieu's got a
Always the
problem with,
bottom
hasn't
line with him.
No, I mean...
The cash.
Yeah,
Gerard,
always.
Gerard
Yeah.
Depardieu's moved to...
No romance to the
No.
the nationality change. It's all about their tax system.
I'm going for
It's on
baklava,
topic.
you're going for
It's
the
on
tax
topic.
rate.
We're talking on topic. I mean, if you're becoming Greek, it's against their culture to pay any tax, as far as I'm aware from reading the papers. The Greeks,
Well, yeah.
they're not big fans of it.
No,
But,
I know.
Apparently, Russia, it's like 13% or something. So
Is it?
it's a flat
rate.
rate of 13.
Flat rate.
Gerard. On the phone up Gerard.
Now Frank's becoming...
That'd be great.
Well, I think that might be a nice idea, that Russia might end up becoming one of those tax havens. There could be like Phil Collinsky and
It would be a funny old... You get a lot of comics over
Jimmy
there.
Karski, yeah.
Frank, what do you... I mean, you've earned a few rubles over the
Dare you
years.
say that to me?
You have earned a few rubles
You've been
over the
reading the
years.
Telegraph comments.
But, you know, sometimes when these people like Andrew Lloyd Webber say, oh, I'm leaving the country if this government gets in because of the tax rate, what do you think about that? Would you do that?
No.
Wouldn't you?
Good for you.
I don't need the money.
Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, no, as long as,
Anyway.
I don't mind building the odd hospital out of my side wages. No, I think if you earn the money, you should pay the tax. That's what I think. But I got interviewed in the Telegraph this week, and I did read a very interesting... I said I wouldn't do newspaper comments again, but this one...
About yourself?
This is
You read
about... You can do them about yourself.
you.
Yeah, well, I only got as far as this one. I thought maybe leave it there. This is from David H. I'm hoping it's the Hoff.
Oh.
You never know. It says, this is what it says about the interview with me, and he says, nauseating, self-centred, champagne socialist millionaire. The definition of what was wrong with the New Labour era.
Oh.
I think, as a recovering alcoholic, calling me a champagne socialist is cruel
Yeah.
in the extreme, David.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got you a millionaire, but the rest of it seems
Yeah,
a bit
I don't
hard.
So I won't
millionaire
have
is-
that. I think you're more of a Prosecco socialist.
I think I'm more of a Vimto socialist. Can you be a Robinson's lemon barley water socialist? I think you can. But David H. is, haters will hate.
Oh, haters going to hate. It's like
Yeah.
that T-shirt.
They
isn't it?
will. That's what they're going to do. Could be David Hume, the 18th century philosopher.
David Hayes, the boxer.
I think he'd have had...
Careful.
Yeah, it could be him. I imagine he's got a slightly better sense of punctuation than this David H. David H. Even that doesn't get a capital. I mean, he's a man struck. This is the best thing that's ever happened to David H. Is me reading this. This is the big moment of his life.
I can't imagine he's a listener, though, could you?
But he might be. You know, the haters are drawn in.
No, they get up early in prison.
Yeah. No, I see him more as... I think he works in an office.
Yes, he does.
I think he's in sales.
He's listening to Radio 5 as we speak.
Yeah.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. You can text us on 81215 or follow us on Twitter at Frank on Absolute. We've had texts,
We've
have
had
we
texts,
not?
in fact.
Oh, I don't think I've said that I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. I do apologise to you both.
Well, as it happens, we've been given a moniker. Sometimes people put, hi, Frank, Emily and Alan, or the Cockerel, or the Divine Emily. This one has got hi, FETC.
Oh.
But
We
it
sound
nearly
like a
says-
trade
It
union.
nearly says fetch, but it's
Frank,
Emily and the
Cockerel.
Cockerel.
Yeah.
But if it was the Cockerel happy, we'd have fetch, wouldn't we?
If it was a Cockerel happy.
Well, it'd be a
We'd have
turn
a
up for the
party.
books.
It would.
Certainly. Thought Frank was great on Graham Norton last night, but was
Oh,
he?
yeah.
Praise has been sneaked into the
Well,
show.
I was going to delete it, but then it doesn't make sense. Thought
Okay.
Frank was on Graham Norton last night, but
Yeah,
was...
that's how rumours start.
It says, was he drinking milk or some sort of stomach medicine?
Oh, because they give you a glass of something,
That's part
don't they?
one of the question.
No, I was drinking. Someone come up to me and said, "What would you like to drink on the show?" And obviously, I said Robinson's lemon barley water.
Shut the
So
front door. Is that what you ordered?
I did. Yes. That's what Graham Norton said to me. Yeah,
Graham likes a white wine. I
He does
love
like a
what
white
the
wine.
guests like. It's my favourite thing in
he
the
has
world.
quite a big white wine as well.
Oh, does he
Yeah.
drink the whole thing then?
What he did, and then he did Tom Cruise after, and stop it. And he has another big
Yeah,
glass
but he's
of white
single
wine.
again. Lock up your daughters.
Yeah, he's
Tom.
yeah. So I
Okay.
can't remember what the others
So it
drank
was,
there.
it was Robinson's lemon barley
It was
water.
Robinson's lemon barley water.
We've then got another question from the same text. Also, I liked his tan shoes and would like some in a size 9. Where did you get them?
Well, they're size 9.
Your shoes?
Yeah.
Well,
But, I
Some strange Gokwan shoe swap.
yeah, they were free.
good for you.
So I don't even know what. I haven't even
Don't
looked
know
at
what
the
brand
make.
they are.
I haven't even looked at the. I think actually they're Ben Sherman's.
Well, this chap
Oh.
is asking you for your shoes. Before Christmas, I got a letter here from a guy offering to sell me his Adidas original trainers in size 11. I'm a size 10 if Adidas Originals are listening.
Wear an extra sock.
I didn't want them.
No. Well, you were just saying no. There's no harm in asking, is there? That's how
Frank.
capitalism was born.
Not content with being seen drinking Robinson's barley water on Graham Norton, you were also... you're everywhere, frankly. You were on Room 101 as well last night. Just watch Room 101. We've been tweeted by Wes. Re-Yogurt. Did you not realise that Miranda Hart does the voiceover for Mullet Corner? Muller. Oh, he says mullet.
mullet.
Oh, he means Muller. Muller.
Mullet Corner, I think, is an area of Berlin.
He said mullet, but of course he means Muller. So, did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that. You see, that's where I need an earpiece on these shows, with every listener to this show tuned in. No, that would have been a good point to make. I know I'm not very good on voiceovers. Alan Cochrane sits here all day. Every advert, he just says,
I've got a good ear.
Chris Addison.
And then he says how much
Chris
they've been paid. Yeah.
I don't do that.
No, but he's very good on the voice recognition. He is a voice recognition system.
It's one of my skills. It's not that marketable, I don't think.
I'm not.
He's a bit of a Siri in his own way.
I'm going to play some music now, and then I'll tell you where we're going to go after that. George Harrison. Email corner.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We're in email corner.
Da-da-doom-doom-da-doom.
Yeah.
As the tune goes, I shall begin. Hello, Frank, Emily and Alan. I work in an architectural office in Leeds,
Lovely.
Oh, brilliant.
where the podcast can be heard
Imagine
regularly.
that.
Oh, love it. Draftsman's contract.
It's
Lovely.
exciting, yeah.
Love it.
Any news on the flying buttress, Dave? Yeah, I'll just finish this cornice. That's what I imagine it's like up there.
Little snapshot into
This is probably a bit more
architectural
Yorkshire.
offices in Leeds.
A bit
there.
more Yorkshire.
Yeah, it's probably more like
that's the
hey,
finished
steady
archway.
on with that pencil. That's got to last till March. As a regular listener to the podcast, the Christmas
Old-fashioned,
break,
tight-fisted Yorkshireman joke. Tremendous. There goes your New Year's resolution. There goes your non-racist New Year's resolution.
Oh yeah, that was my second one. So not do stingy jokes about Yorkshire. As a regular listener to the podcast, the Christmas break has left a big hole in our days where you have all been missed. However,
What about the
imagine my
greatest
delight.
hits?
I don't know why they didn't put it
No,
on.
they didn't play that.
Oh, it's a podcast. They didn't put it
Yeah.
out as a podcast.
Can't
There was,
believe it. I've been let down.
you know, it fell between two stools, the podcast. However, imagine my delight
There was many,
and shock.
many a Christmas I fell between two stools in the 80s.
And you were using the furniture for balance. Is that?
Exactly.
Imagine my delight and shock to see Frank playing buttons in Cinderella alongside Samantha Janice.
Every year.
Every year. I wonder how
Good
Frank feels
pronunciation
about
of
his...
Samantha's surname. Well done.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
She's not called that now, is she? She's
She's
called
Womack.
Samantha Womack.
Oh,
She
okay.
married Bobby Womack.
But was she Janice when you did it?
She was a Janus.
I wondered how Frank
Janice,
feels
huh?
about his panto past and whether it brings good or bad memories.
Well, it was. I loved doing it. I must say, it was
really?
great.
They
being-
play that a
yeah.
lot.
I mean, I wouldn't want to necessarily do 6 weeks in Bournemouth or whatever.
He says, would you do another? What would be your ideal part?
I don't
And
know.
It says, what would it take to get you back in those theatrical satin trousers again? Well, it turns out you waking up at 4 a.m. is what it takes, because you've popped them on today. After all that thinking about what you were going to wear, you've gone for the theatrical satin trousers.
I've gone for a pantaloon,
A harem
a
pan.
panto.
Pantaloon, very good.
Lovely work.
I'll tell you what I do remember about that. I was working. Ronnie Corbett was one of the Ugly Sisters,
Was he? Excellent.
and
Worked with them all, hasn't he?
yeah, and
Worked with them all.
Lisa Tarbuck said to me, "Oh, you should say to Ronnie, I hear you make your own bread," and he'll say, "I'll bring you a loaf in," and then he'll bring you a loaf. So I tried it. I went in the next day. I said, "All right." I saw Lisa Tarbuck. She was saying that you make your own bread. He said, "Oh yeah, I'll bring you a loaf in." And sure as enough, and he brought me one in then. And the joy of having a sandwich with bread baked by Ronnie
Oh, he genuinely
Corbett.
did bake the bread.
Yeah.
I thought it was
wow.
some call and response gag.
No,
Yeah,
no,
me
he
too.
does. He bakes bread as a. He was way ahead of the trend. He was with the baking thing.
I wonder if he has a little special oven.
So
he been on-
I hope so.
At just, at a good level for him, at eye level.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
Have
he,
a stool instead.
something about eating bread made by Ronnie and it was white. I don't normally eat white bread, but
Was it shortbread?
It was a good white. It was.
Please
Sorry.
give me my propers for that joke.
Oh, sorry, that was excellent.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was just on my way to. It was a good white from him. It's a terrible when two jokes collide. I'm terribly sorry. We can sort it all out in the edit. Oh, it's live.
Oh, sorry.
No, I should have been told. What about that stuff about the Yorkshireman? Well, it's
Right.
in now.
So you're not doing Panto? You wouldn't do 6 weeks?
No, but I wish that the BBC or someone would do a Christmas panto or Sky or something. 'Cause it was a real good laugh. We did it at Brixton Academy, which is like the coolest
Wow.
rock. And
It's not a bit Lenny Kravitz.
yeah, exactly. What a place to do it. But
Frank, are we ready for email 2?
yeah, let's do it.
Dear Frank, Alan and Emily, whilst introducing my German girlfriend to Dad's army, I noted a great credit.
Awkward.
And the voice of Bud Flanagan, it said.
Oh yes, and the voice of Bud Flanagan. Bud Flanagan sings, "Oh, do you think you're..."
Is that
It's
when
like,
the horrible arrows come, which used to scare me as a child? I
Yeah,
hated
it's
that.
not as good as in Lord of the Rings, voice of the ring, Alan Howard.
Oh,
wow.
lovely.
I know Alan Howard was a brilliant Shakespearean actor. I saw him play Richard II and Richard III. And now he does mainly jewellery.
Yeah.
I am the man. He's in Girl with the Pearl Earring, he's in.
Is he?
Yeah, that's the earring. And he's also in, he was in Young Victoria I watched last night. He was in that as Prince Albert.
Oh, my God.
Oh no, Prince Albert. Sorry, I misread that.
Alan, you will be pleased to know that I also run to the podcast, and it's very kind of you to keep me company when I'm running through the Munich Olympic Park.
That's
Ooh,
nice, isn't it?
Very Nazi
She
German.
loved Dad's army, in case you wondered. My night's move would be to invite you all out for a sausage if you're ever passing through. Greetings from a cold, crisp Munich. That's Andy.
I love Munich. It's a beautiful place. We need some adverts now. We can't just talk about the good old days.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
New year, new beginnings.
Yes.
And not just for us three. We've had some news in Friends of the Show.
Friends of the show. Let's see if we've still got that baby.
Do you have to press a button for it? Is that-
Yeah, I can't find
It doesn't just happen, does it? It's
been-
not a
it has-
thought process.
it. Been I've only just got back. It's
The
been
first-
a ropey old day.
Friend of the show is BFM, of course. He
Oh,
needs
Britain's
no-
fattest man.
Yeah.
Britain's fattest man isn't anymore, is he?
No,
We're going to
he's
start
lost.
calling him BFFM, Britain's formerly fattest man.
He lost 46 stone.
Careless,
He lost
as Oscar Wilde would say.
46 stone.
That's probably about 2 Depardieu's, I reckon.
The best bit in the article said that he's lost the equivalent of 3 heavyweight boxers, and I spent about 5 minutes thinking, which 3? And going, Bruno, Tyson, and just Flintoff. I went Flintoff.
Oh, Flintoff.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't left. We should say he hasn't been on the cabbage soup diet. He's had it surgically removed. That's
Well, he hasn't had it. He's had a gastric band, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he had his,
Which meant his stomach shrunk to the size of an egg.
Yeah, Kinder
Okay.
Egg.
Yeah.
It's a Cadbury's cream egg.
Certainly a surprise.
I know we might get angry emails over this, but so be it. I'm going to say it. I preferred him when he was fat.
You shut up.
I know it's
You like
irresponsible.
him chunky but funky, don't you?
I
know,
do.
But you know what about the poor man's health?
I know, but he looks so cute, like a little baby with his little legs.
I know, but
I liked his vulnerability.
I have to say, it was such a lovely story. He said, when I don't need the wheelchair anymore, he said, I'm going to have a proper work shed and a kiln.
Is that what he said?
Kiln, and I thought, that's beautiful, isn't it? This is a bloke. This is a proper New Year's story.
Yeah.
Because he wants to become a jeweller now. And I thought, for a start-off, I couldn't believe they hadn't done the Losing Stones headline. Jeweller loses 46 stones.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of money. But it's a lovely... He sort of said, you know, I'm fed up of being Britain's fattest man. I want to be a jeweller. Something beautiful about it.
Yeah.
The only problem is, I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry to
kiln?
rain on his chips.
But a kiln...
Well, the good thing about a kiln is if the jewellery doesn't work out, it could double up as a pizza oven, couldn't it?
Well, see, he needs support.
I'll say he does.
He definitely needs support.
I'm not supporting
He needs
him.
a truss. Frank, what about the bye-byes arms? Because he hasn't got rid of the excess flesh. This is the problem. Where does it go, that flesh?
Well, he's kept the bingo wings, but he's now much lighter. I think he's probably capable of unassisted flight. And that's the lovely side effect of all this.
Yeah, every cloud.
But it would be, I think it'd be brilliant if he, I think he could be mistaken for one.
He did pull the tracksuit pant out, Frank, in the Slimmer of the Year pose.
He did, yeah. But
I
he was
love
asked.
that.
He was asked to do that, wasn't he, by the Sun? I bet they said, "Can you pull the trousers out at the front? Because you have to do that if you've lost weight."
Yeah.
But
See, I
it's-
could do that on my pyjamas that I got for Christmas. It doesn't mean anything, does
gosh.
it? It doesn't mean that I used to be Britain's fattest man. It's just a
No,
thing
it doesn't
that you
mean
can
that.
do on-
Obviously, it doesn't mean that.
just a thing you can do on tracky bottoms. And
Yeah, but
pyjamas.
no, exactly. What he's supposed to wear his previous trousers.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's been a long time since he's been in an unelasticated waist trouser. Anyway, respect to him.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
On the subject of losing weight, I heard a fabulous losing weight story. I was working with Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen.
You've worked with them all.
I have worked with them all.
Ronnie Corbett to Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen.
His wife apparently had a big weight loss. She lost, I don't know what it was.
Jackie, yeah.
She lost 2 or 3 stone in one big diet thing. And apparently he put his arms around her and said, "Oh, darling, you've gone from Baroque to neoclassical." That's fantastic.
Oh, I dream of someone saying that to
I'm
me.
hoping someone will do that to Paul Mason.
Yeah, well, he's Rubenesque, I would say.
Yeah. Martin Williams says, will BFFM be able to have a ruby when he fancies it in the future?
Oh.
Very good.
A ruby. Oh, God, there isn't enough rhyming slang on the show.
Stones,
I've said
curries.
that once, I've said it 4 times.
Yeah. Frank, that's not the only friend of the show
It's not.
who's been in the news. Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet, friend of the show. She doesn't know she's a friend of the
No.
show, but she is, and that's it.
As far as we know.
Once
Someone
you-
might have mentioned it to her.
Do you think so?
Well, she has the same shoe size as Frank.
Yeah, she
She's a
does.
size 9.
She's probably, it's probably her that texted in about the brown Ben Shermans.
Well, until recently, she was dating Ned Rock and Roll.
Ned
and
Rock and Roll.
This station plays some of that, so he might well be a listener. He might pop it on his digital radio, going, "Let's listen to Absolute
imagine
in case
she
they play
lives-
some rock and roll."
I don't imagine she lives the life that where Absolute Radio features.
You don't think they're lying in bed on a Saturday morning, going, "Well, let's have a bit of Frank Skinner's show
She's
on."
a big star, they don't. 2 Golden Globes. I don't think anyone would argue with
Who's
that.
the most famous person that listens to this show? I'd be happy with...
Tracy Emin.
Is it? Oh, yeah, of course. Hi,
Yeah.
Trace. Haven't heard from you for a while.
She's been all over the world, she's
Oh,
an
okay. She's an
artist.
international artiste.
She is. Ned Rock and Roll, Abel Smith, as was.
That was his name, wasn't it?
Abel Smith. I know, because I took my horses to him for 3 years before. It's a terrible mix-up.
What
He
do,
made
you,
a right hash of it.
what do you make of him, Frank?
Well, he's a
Ned.
good-looking lad, Ned. Anyone who makes Kate happy is fine by me.
He's got Lego hair, hasn't he? He looks like he could take his hair off in one lump. Like that.
Yeah.
He's
It looks
got
like
that
Posh
thing
Boy's
going
jaw.
Do you think he's got
Yeah.
Lego hair? Brilliant.
Do you think he's got
Posh
Lego
boy's
hair?
jaw, what is that?
I don't know, it sort of sticks out at a slightly odd angle.
Is he posh?
Oh, goodness, yes.
Is he?
Yeah, very
He's Richard Branson's nephew, isn't he?
Yeah.
See, I think there's a fabulous sort of bartering system going on here, because if you remember, she saved Richard Branson's mother
Yeah.
from the fire, and I'm guessing as a reward he gave her the nephew. That's what he uses his relatives like chess pieces, Richard Branson.
Yes.
It's
A
just
Terry Pratchett
a
novel.
sacrifice piece.
Yeah, so she's she's landed on her feet.
I like that. He's a fine dowry.
He's a fine dowry. I just she had the
She had Mendes. She had
Yeah.
Threepleton.
well, but after the Mendes thing, it didn't sound like he was. He said something like, "You can't have just one relationship in your life." It didn't sound good. And then she had the sorbet relationship with the sort of male model.
Oh, yeah.
That
Oh, he
cle-
was
that cl-
lovely.
that
We
cleansed
call
the
the palate cleanser.
That cleansed the
Yes.
palate, and now she's found love. I for one, I love Kate Winslet. That moment when Rafe Fiennes withdraws his hand in the reader. I cried like a fool.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
And, I mean, I know she was a Nazi, but she was illiterate. Of course they didn't know then.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
A couple of texts in.
Things are looking up.
Yeah, one saying, "Hi Frank, please help get Merlin back on TV. We
I'm
need
all
a
for that.
voice."
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought
all for that.
Thought that might chime with you, and also
I'm thinking, what about if I pioneered the sort of live show version? You know, like when Yes Minister
Live
went
Merlin.
off air.
Oh, yeah.
Yes Minister went off air, and then they did a stage version, and now it's coming back on, sort of based on the stage version. I thought I could be the Richard Wilson part, the older keys, the older.
you're drawn
one.
to wisdom-based characters.
Yeah,
Is he in
mainly.
Merlin?
For your acting career.
I don't believe
No,
it. Oh.
no, Merlin is the young Merlin.
It'd be hard to suspend your disbelief in a sci-fi program with a guy going, "I don't believe it" all the time.
yeah, exactly. He
Me
very
neither.
much does believe it.
Apparently that guy's a dragon. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Should have changed his
So
catchphrase.
I'd be Keys, the Richard Wilson sort of old advisor.
Don't say all these names like we know what you're talking about. No one
Well,
watches
Arthur.
it other than you.
Arthur is like the blonde.
I know him.
attractive,
I know
so
Arthur.
I'm thinking, obviously, Adam Rickett. That's,
Oh,
where,
yeah.
that's where you
Oh.
start with blonde and attractive.
Very contemporary as
And
well.
then, and then
Six-pack.
Very
Merlin
20 yeah.
is the young, dark,
The wizard.
dazzling.
Wizard
So I'm
sleep.
thinking Anthony Costa.
Oh, is he from Blue?
Yeah,
Lovely.
and then we
He
do
might,
the
he might have to. He's been at the Ginsters though.
Has he?
Has he?
Yes, yeah.
But that's all right. I think that you expect a Merlin is going to a wizard is going to indulge themselves a bit.
Oh yeah.
If you can make a pie out of thin air.
Wandering about in a cloak, they can do what they like.
It'll certainly make the, it'll certainly
You
make
don't
the
have to
food
worry
disappear.
about not even elasticated clothing. I mean, just wide rope. You can even have really fat wrists because they have those like flared sleeves.
Yes,
they go
I
for.
believe so.
Perfect.
Yeah, you could keep a couple of those. What's that sort of that spicy sausage thing?
Chorizo.
No, the ones that come in packets.
Oh yeah, text in because I know exactly what you mean.
Cabanos.
Oh,
No.
God, you
Pepperami.
changed.
The green one, yes.
Pepperami.
Oh, yeah.
You've changed.
Cabanos.
You didn't correctly identify a pepperami brand.
Cabanos. It's
By
not the
walking
guy
down
you
an aisle of a supermarket and viewing products.
He still writes Cabanos. I met him when I was on holiday. We had one fling and I thought that was it, but he still writes.
Yeah, it's what that film's based on, isn't it? What's the film that's based on the holiday romance?
This show is just turning into
Julie
us not
Walters.
remembering things. Shirley
No,
Valentine
that's the
and it's
one.
Pauline Collins.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
leave
Based-
it.
Based on your...
This is like a really rubbish version of Google, this show.
Well, you know, that's fine, isn't it? It's a bit of fun.
Anyway, I
need
am
to,
upset about Arthur. About Merlin. Anything I can do to get it back on, I will. But I'm pushing her.
Don't hold your breath, love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to quiz you using your actual wisdom, not your fake wisdom for when you're playing characters. in things.
Someone's brought up my fake wisdom. Keep talking. Just keep talking. Like nothing's
One of the
happened.
things I love
Here's the
most
thing.
about you, your fake wisdom.
I'm in a bit of a pickle. We've got a jar of piccalilli in the house already on the go.
I got that first. I got sort of retrospective joke.
Reasonably tall jar of piccalilli.
Yeah.
Over the Christmas break, I've received 2 similarly big jars of piccalilli, but
Really?
fancy.
This is Cameron's Britain.
fancy jars.
Here's my Christmas list. 2 jars of piccalilli.
One was in a hamper and one was like a homemade one that my mother-in-law bought me at a place, like a spicy. It looks really
sort of
good.
down-
The other was
good.
from your agent because I got that hamper.
Yeah, yeah. But now I've got a piccalilli queue and I don't know what to do. Are you allowed to jump off the one that you already had opened? Because then that's
You've got a bottleneck.
that's going to go for the bin, innit? If I then
Yes.
start on the other one.
Why do you want to start on the other one? You think they're better?
Well, because they look exciting. I'm excited about the.
I wish. I tell you what. I wish if this was a more professional radio show. Underneath it, as a bed under this conversation, I'd be playing Yellow by
Yeah.
for all this for the Piccadilly talk.
And I've been what I've been doing so far is just going a bit quicker on the piccalilli that I've got already open.
I tell you what, don't fall into the trap of putting a bit of extra piccalilli on a sandwich. Because piccalilli is a fine line.
Uh-huh.
It can enhance a sandwich and make
It's a
it...
fine line.
You can make it...
Extraordinary
it can make
statement.
a sandwich special, or it can make it too sharp to enjoy.
Yeah. Well, also I found out...
And also that moment when you go, whoa, cauliflower. That could have done with another slice. That's too big to be in a jar.
There are definite foods that piccalilli does and does not go with, like
that's true of all
cheese,
pickles.
ham.
Can I tell you what I
It's
feel like?
good
You know
for-
when we talk about Homeland and you get angry because you can't join in? This is what I feel like.
What, you
I've
did-
never eaten it. I've never tried
Never
it.
eaten
No.
piccalilli.
Oh, well, I've got half a jar you can have.
I've got a whole jar
Can't have
that
one of the brand new
I
jars.
won't have.
I'm not giving that away.
But the best... are any of your jars Fortnum and Masons?
One of them is, yeah.
Well, that, I have to say, and I've eaten piccalilli the world over.
Showing off.
Another Stories by Frank Skinner.
Fortnum and Masons, and this is very... I feel under this, I should have fanfare for the common man. Fortnum and Masons is without doubt the best piccalilli I've ever tasted. It's a
really?
work of art.
I'll go on their website.
So should I have
So,
that third?
yeah,
do you
I don't think
Save
you
the
will.
best for last.
Summer, but and don't send me any if you're listening. I can afford it. But it is, oh man, it's breathtaking, but only if you put too much on the sandwich.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we're going to head back towards email corner.
Let's do it.
Let's just,
I don't
uh,
have to do the jingle every
let's
time.
just-
People, they get it. don't
We'll
they?
just jog on there, shall we? Jog on. Good morning, all. I too heard about this SpongeBob incident. We should explain there was an incident.
Yes, in
It
Wolverhampton.
sounds more sinister than it is. to be fair.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Not him as well.
Switched on the Christmas lights
Yeah.
in Wolverhampton, and unfortunately, health and safety wouldn't let him climb the 5 stairs because they said he was too wide.
World's gone
I have
mad.
to say, it's a criticism that's off-levelled at SpongeBob.
And Anthony Costa.
He is wide. Please,
No,
leave
I like
Paul
Costa.
Mason.
Yeah.
So he had to do it on ground level. He couldn't go on the platform. So most of the audience couldn't even see. They didn't even know he'd turned up.
Yeah.
It's a terrible, tragic.
Which is brutal
Christmas.
if you've gone there hoping to see SpongeBob.
Which lots of children as well, so they've
Turn
got
on
even
a
less
light.
chance of seeing it because they're shorter, obviously, children. I've noticed that. It's one thing I've learnt about parenthood.
Yeah, well, Chantel Kelly from Hull has
I like
emailed
that
us.
name.
So do I.
I too heard about this SpongeBob incident. I immediately came up with a solution. Why didn't SpongeBob strip, climb the 5 steps, put the SpongeBob attire back on, and continue with his plans? I think that's a great idea.
No.
They could have held up 2 towels like at Wimbledon when someone's changing.
Mickey can't take the head off.
Pardon?
Mickey can't
Yeah.
take the head off.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
You know the story about the woman who's supposed to... the child was sick at Disneyland and they took her in to get a drink of water and they saw Mickey with his head off having a cigarette.
Having a fag.
Oh, really?
And the child was traumatised.
Yeah.
You can't imagine seeing Square... Bob
Child was
Sponge.
traumatised. Should have had my childhood hing out with the BBC.
Yeah, but at least they kept their
I
heads
didn't mean
on.
it like that.
Yeah. No, it was. I remember Baggy Bird, the West Bromwich Albion mascot. There was a time where he would sit sort of row C with his head off.
Oh.
So he had the big thrush body and then a tiny human head coming out of it, and that didn't. You know those medieval meals where they put a nightingale inside a spatchcock?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It was like that. Didn't like that at all.
No. And also, apparently Chantal says you sound like a straight Alan Carr.
A straight Alan Carr. Ooh, Lidl.
This is
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner. Oh no, it's not. I was so confident, and then I just fell flat on my
Go on,
face.
give it another crack. You've had 2 hours to warm up, mind you.
I know, but text me at least 4. Unfortunately, it's a 3-hour
It
show.
said on ATR, Adelaide, what is it, Territorial Radio?
Is it?
Is it on that now?
Yeah.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. You can text us on 81215. Follow us on Twitter at Frank on Absolute. And I'm with Emily, Dean and Alun Cochrane. BTW.
By the way, very good. Very good. So it's January. We
You heard it here first.
Breaking news.
I wasn't saying it like it was breaking news.
I love Alan's topical stuff.
I like it when Alan goes a bit hard copy.
So it's January. That's all I've got on that.
Yeah.
No, but as I seem to occupy a corner of this show that seems to be like the cliched frugal guy.
I can't imagine why.
Frugal
Me neither.
Sharky, I call it.
During my more lascivious nights out. in a Weatherspoons when I'm...
No, because you're also a bit Sharky.
Oh, right, I see.
You don't sleep much.
Yeah.
But of course, all that's going to change.
That's going to change this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to look back on this year and think, I felt really recharged.
You're going to look back and think, I wasted that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm going to
Really.
be. I was asleep when I could have been out living the life of
No,
Riley.
it's not that. It's the wasted
See what
time
I would have
that
done. I
stay up.
would have had underneath this. I'd have had the life of Riley playing.
I know.
Said that.
I was going to say living La Vida Loca. Ricky Martin
That
would have been brought in and all
been-
sorts.
Yeah.
It's the extra half hour that I stay up and,
And
then
her
should go to
skin.
bed.
Her skin is the colour of mocha. You believe that?
Yeah.
My point being, are you? Have you had a look at your life, a little audit, a stock take, and picked anything that you need to get in the January sales? Have you got
No.
a thing that you've got your eye on?
No, I hate sales.
You hate sales.
I actually hate sales.
How can you hate sales?
I
don't-
actually ate Sale. the town.
What, in Greater Manchester?
Yeah.
I find it depressing. I'd rather go naked than wrestle with another human being over a bit of old fabric.
Well, you don't
I'm not
have to.
doing
Hold on, is this the summary of a Ken Russell film?
But I just think, no.
Women in Love.
Yeah,
where,
Women in
who was it?
Love.
Alan
What?
Bates and Oliver Reed wrestled naked in front of a coal fire.
Oh, spoiler alert. I've not seen
All
that
right.
either.
I don't like sales. It's a bit medieval carnival. I'd rather pay 30% extra and not to have to do that. And
Well, that sale's not good enough.
if I may say, Al,
75 you can get
don't
off
take
some
this the wrong
places.
way. Take it massively the wrong way. But I'm not surprised you like a sale, to be
Oh
honest.
dear, this has gone. I don't know where to look.
Cuts deep, doesn't it? Cuts
Does it?
deep.
That's awful.
You are to sales what Ross Abbott is to atmospheres. I would say.
I do love a sale. I like it. I like a rummage. I bet there's people listening now thinking, well, I was interested in a new beanbag, or, you know, me and my wife, we've
I love a
realised-
beanbag, can I say?
You do love a beanbag,
Yeah,
but
I
if you
think
were
that they
already...
get a lot of stick beanbags because they're seen as a crappy student thing. Can I say crappy? Something?
If they get a lot of stick, they're a
can't say.
knapsack then,
Oh.
basically.
It's live, apparently. They did walk. They told me that earlier.
But let's say you wanted an expensive beanbag that's normally £700.
like one of
or
those
something.
Buddha bags.
Yeah, if you wanted one of those, you wouldn't get it in December or February. You'd buy it in January and get a few £100 off
No,
it, perhaps.
no, I'd get it in July.
Oh, not you. I mean one. I mean a normal person.
No,
what
no,
isn't-
I'm on about a bargain.
I like one. Who are you, the Duke of Edinburgh? One.
I get mine in July if there's local rioting.
Oh, I see.
Get it for nothing.
Get it along with your rice.
Because I find the hoodies, they're not interested in the bean bags.
Yeah, they're running past them.
They want a nice VHS machine.
Oh, well, can I just say, for the record,
Can I say, I haven't rioted for a long time.
we've moved
It's
past
going,
the VHS.
it's going back a bit since I've rioted.
A beanbag and the VHS.
Got a problem with that?
1980s rioting.
Well, like I say, I'm a bit old for rioting now. I'm worried I might cop myself.
It was me wanting a toaster where you just think, I could do one of those prongs to stick in bread and hold it in front of the fire.
That'd be
Some bellows to keep it going.
this is ageist. That's what this is.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I say, by the way, before when I said that Fortnum & Mason's Piccadilly was the best, we're not actually allowed to say that without mentioning that other Piccadillys are available.
They
Oh,
are.
name one. I can't.
Well, the one I didn't want to name was Hayward's Pickle,
Oh.
Oh, all right.
because Hayward's Piccadilly is made by the company owned by Jack Hayward.
Nick Hayward.
And no, it's not him. Jack Hayward put about 80 million quid into Wolverhampton Wanderers, and some people think they might have actually gone to the wall if it wasn't for him.
Oh, okay.
So obviously for me, eating that is like in the 80s eating South African fruit. But I remember that.
I think that might be the piccalilli that I've got on the go, as it were, already.
No, forget that. Just got to put that in the bin.
Well, back on the old Piccadilly chat, are we?
I remember when Nelson Mandela came out. I watched it on the telly. I thought, I'm going to get myself some apples. I've been desperate for some of them lovely juicy apples. That's great.
Franca, Martin has tweeted us refrugal Sharky, which is your little moniker for Alan.
Mm-hmm.
Due to Alan's failure to be in Miranda, a good part these days is hard to find.
Ouch.
Oh, is
a
that
pun on a good heart these days.
Oh, God, I'd forgotten that song completely. What a clever muso pun.
See, I don't think it's that frugal to buy a thing you already need in
here we
January.
go.
Sure, why would I buy a new toaster and kettle in March?
Just FYI, if you find you're constantly defending yourself in this fashion,
You need a new...
you probably deserve
That's
that.
what you're after, a toaster and a kettle.
Yeah, and why not?
So if you've got friends getting married...
A student going to university for the first time.
Exactly.
Exactly, I should really ring Kate Winslet. She's probably got a few knocking about.
Get yourself a lava lamp frugal while you're at it.
There's a rumour that they didn't even tell their parents they were going to get married. It was
That's right, but I
bang,
suppose, again, the parents are probably thinking, well, I'd have liked to have come, but I was at the last two, so...
that is,
I'll come to the next one.
Unlucky in love. I got myself a typewriter ribbon.
In the sales?
Well, kind of.
Oh.
It's that I went to Ryman's
Lovely.
and for a typewriter ribbon, and they had, incredibly, they had a couple in the storeroom, which I think had been there for some, we'll put it this way, 7 and 6.
Did they blow the dust off?
Yeah, exactly. But that was a bargain.
Well, it's not just you and I that are interested in the sales. There was a deer in a high street in Essex.
I haven't seen any footage. Is there any footage of that deer?
Oh, I've seen it.
I haven't seen
I've seen it on the... We love animals on the rampage.
Did you?
Our things.
Did you?
It's our thing.
We should have an Animals on the Rampage jingle.
Yes,
I can't believe
we
we
need to
haven't
sort
got
that
one
out.
of those.
We've had elephants, all sorts.
It said that it knocked a woman over, who we should say was shaken, and I feel sorry for that. It would be shocking. No, she's all right now, I think. She's out of hospital. But the reason it knocked her over was it tried to jump over her. Wow. That's terrible decision-making by the deer.
Yeah.
The deer's coming head down absolutely flat out down the high street. Sees this woman and thinks, left, right, I'm going over. It got no chance of getting over.
The speed of that deer.
Oh, man, that
It was
must
the Usain Bolt.
They must have knocked the wind down.
Yeah.
And also just the confusion that it would have created that Saturday evening when people come back from the sales and they say, deer at the sales today.
Oh, God.
Oh, frugal.
I'll tell you something, though. My favourite bit
Drop
of that
me
story
out, frugal.
was that the deer damaged itself running into a shop window.
Oh, I know.
Right, like a moth. Like a big version of a moth.
That took you back to the 80s.
I'll tell you,
It was the Antler luggage shop, that was why it was doing it.
but the animal...
Oh, my God.
What's happening? The animal kingdom, it really struggles with windows, doesn't it? I love that.
Yes.
I love that even a
Yeah,
deer...
they have problems with it,
They
even
can't
now.
cope with the concept of glass under any context.
You in the 80s?
Yes.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Fine. Can we just move into football corner quickly? Yeah. I'm something of a fan of that Hair Bear Bunch one who plays for Everton.
Oh, Fellaini.
Yes, I like him.
Mario Fellaini.
He's a funny-looking chap, isn't he? And
I love that. I've always thought if I was capable of an afro, I would grow one.
Would you?
I'd love one of those really tight, like Jackson 5 afros. They look brilliant. I think if you're a white man, people take it the wrong way.
Well, he looks so brilliant that apparently he's had to move because he's mobbed everywhere he goes in Liverpool. He's moved to Manchester.
He's mobbed by ladies, he claims, doesn't he?
I thought he was married to Anita Dobson.
He's very interested in the stars, isn't he, now?
Yeah.
He's a keen
He says,
stargazer.
Fellaini says, I'm living in Manchester now because in Liverpool the women were crawling for me.
And he didn't add brackets, it's convenient during the transfer window.
No, he didn't add
I'd love
that.
to sign for another club.
He says, I know I am hot, and I want to move forward one day. I say exactly the same of myself. I said exactly that about myself this morning.
Yeah, he wants to move.
I know I am hot, and I want to move forward one
Well,
day.
if they're crawling for you, I think you should move forward. I mean, meet them halfway, surely.
Yes.
It's.
But he is a forward, surely. There's only so much more forward he
don't
can go before he's right off.
But he
the
needs to
on
move.
the goal.
If he doesn't want to be recognised, he needs to move further than Manchester, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's not
surely
far
he'll be
enough.
Yeah.
He's a very recognisable character.
Well, I think what
I was
it
going
is
to say,
is
when you're that hot, you know.
I think what it is
Oh, well,
because
he's hot
I
with
think
that,
he's
eh?
about a 6'5" Belgian with an afro, and they're 10 a penny in Manchester, whereas they're very rare in Liverpool.
What he should do, he should dye his hair orange, and then he should get a sort of a Jean-Paul
Annie,
Gaultier,
Annie or something.
and then get a black and white hooped bodysuit and just hang around by zebra crossings.
Oh, nobody'd even spot him.
No, he'd be fine there. I'll tell you what he looks a bit like. Do you remember when that woman really messed up that Jesus mural?
Yes.
That's kind of what came out. I don't understand this story. Surely, that's what Premiership footballers like, isn't it, ladies?
Yeah, you think.
Crawling.
And also, what's that bad about a
Ladies
Liverpool lady
crawling.
crawling at you? You know, some of them are lovely.
Well, I'm an honorary
Some of
Scouser, so I object to that portrayal of Scouse women.
Some of the Scouts
Crawling.
are delicious looking.
No, but
and
I
should
imagine
be
where-
glad of the attention.
I mean, he is a handsome fellow. I imagine wherever he went, women would grovel.
Crawl at
Crawl
him.
at his feet.
Yeah. So
Said they crawl across him.
I don't know why he hopes to get.
He was a bit of a silly Billy though, wasn't he? Recently,
Was he?
He's naughty, or wasn't he banned or something?
Oh yeah, he got a ban for a bit of elbowing.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
but you know, it's all part. It's all
Headbutt
part
or
of the
whatever.
game. That.
Oh, 70s approach.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'm not done in Football Corner.
You're football crazy.
Football mad,
Football
me.
mad.
Roberto Mancini, you're familiar with his work.
Well, yeah, you always used to
He's
quite
a
have the
crush, yeah.
heart.
Used to. He's in my, I'm going to call it my technical area top 3.
Really, I don't like a bovine eye.
Do you want to know
He's
who they
got
are,
a,
Frank?
He's got a bovine eye.
Roberto, AVB, and Alun Pardew. The
Oh,
top
yeah.
3 technical area.
Alun Pardew.
Love
I
that
can
silver
see that.
fox.
Shut
I can see that.
No, I'd like him. He'd take you for a nice date and drop you home in a nice Lexus or something.
Good skin as well.
Yes, heated
Often
seats.
looks-
He might even have a hybrid. I mean, that's the kind of character he is.
Yeah.
Character. But no, did you see? Because I love.
Unfortunately, he would have on the side in massive letters, Alan Pardew drives a hybrid, because that's how he would have got the free car.
He's a bit anorak over suit as well. They all are.
Yeah, they all are.
But Roberto, I didn't like that Balotelli fisticuffs.
It wasn't
Did you
really
see that?
fisty.
Was it not?
It was a bit of
Wasn't quite.
bit of bib pulling.
They
It
called
was-
it grappling on the news. They said there was some grappling. I was thinking, it's not judo or... Anyway.
Well, that takes me back when the wrestling used to be on World of Sport on
yeah.
a Saturday, and at the end, Kent Walton used to say, "Okay, grapple fans." Loved it.
It was a bit undignified, though.
No, apparently it happens all the time on training grounds.
So
you
does
know.
spitting. It doesn't make it right. That's
No,
one
but
of
you
the things
get-
that annoys me.
It was a
when they
bit
go,
when
"It happens all
Tramps
the
fight.
time."
I didn't like it. It was
When
all slow-mo and
Tramps
Tramps fight.
It was a bit of
Some
a
of
trap
the best
fight.
paid tramps on earth, by the way.
Yeah, but you know, it's it was just a bit of tugging and pushing.
I disagree, because I think Balotelli has aged Roberto.
Do you think?
He's aged about 10 years.
You don't think that's the stress of management?
I think it's a stress
just
of
the-
him.
I
Do you know what it
imagine
could
he's-
be? Do you know what it could be? In 2012, he might not have had enough good sleeps. It probably put 10 years on him.
Balotelli?
And I feel his pain. No,
I
Mancini,
bet
that's how he's
Balotelli
gone
has a
old.
few late nights.
I think
Oh,
he does,
yeah.
yeah, actually. I think he's
Down
been...
at Sophisticats.
I think he's been appropriately fined accordingly.
I also think someone's been interfering with the seam on his head,
Yes.
which in cricket is illegal, as you know. They've raised the seam. That's what they've done to get more movement.
My favourite
think-
thing was yesterday when they knew that there was going to be tons and tons of press coverage about it. Balotelli turned up for training in his Bentley that has camouflage. He's got a camouflage Bentley.
Brilliant.
And you think, is this his version of keeping a low profile? He's turned up in a £120,000 car that he's had printed in camouflage.
That's his broken Britain car.
Great.
And I think he's chosen a Bentley just because it's a little bit like Balotelli.
Maybe.
The
Yes.
word. I think people do that all the time. I've always thought that's why Tina Hobley's in Holby City.
That's why I drive a
Yes.
Cortina. It's nearly like Cochrane, isn't it? It's not quite, but I couldn't think of any other cars that are vaguely
Off the top
like-
of your head, it was splendid.
So Frank doesn't think this is bad. I think Roberto should call injury lawyers for you because he had an injury in the workplace.
That would be brilliant if he did that.
Yes.
I think that would cause it to get out of hand now. I think that what I liked about it, there was a bit of, I don't know if you've ever read Of Mice and Men
Oh, yes.
by John Steinbeck.
I have,
There was an
actually.
element of that. There was the big lumbering, I didn't mean to do it, boss. Oh, George. No, well, you did do it, and see how you hurt Scott Sinclair. Didn't I tell you then? Oh, come on, George. Little extract there from John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men here on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've also been chastised for a deer mention, but no Deer Hunter theme music.
Oh, what an opportunity, I tell you.
If opportunity comes, don't knock it. You remember what the man said?
No, that is a very, very good point. I feel awful about that now. I mean, how often do we get the chance to play the Deer Hunter theme? No, that wasn't a rhetorical question.
Okay.
Can you actually find that out?
Once a week, I think.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
That's my other New Year's resolution, to prank you a bit more. It's not really.
Okay. Well, look, there's other people looking for work. If anyone here,
Can I say I like that
isn't happy,
You
well, then-
adopted
very
the
good
well look
point.
of Simon Cowell there, Frank.
Well, look. I just put, there are people desperate for work at the moment, so I think we should all need to be on our toes.
Are you referring to unemployed graduate Adam Pacini?
I am.
Pachiti.
Pachiti.
No, he didn't write La Boheme.
No, you're
It's
right.
not Pacini.
Pacini's a different fella,
Yeah.
isn't it?
What's he called? Pachetti?
Adam Pachiti.
Pachetti. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's call the whole thing.
For people that don't know, he
Hitter.
spent his last £500 taking out a billboard advert saying, "Give us a job," essentially. I spent my £500 on this last billboard, which is a bit like me. Every bit of money I spend, I then mention how much it's cost me to spend.
I doubt that you've spent £500 in your lifetime.
I do think it's a bit vulgar to mention how much things cost, though. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have brought that up.
Sorry.
the woman that I sat next to at the football on Boxing Day kept saying, "Come on, town, this has cost me 75 quid. Like, I was thinking, oh, but it's brilliant being your kids.
And you wonder why you have these stereotypes.
Exactly, yeah.
That's
But-
how much it is to watch Huddersfield Town.
Yeah, for 10 people. No.
Okay. No,
It's a coffee at the Arsenal.
it's not bad, is it? 500 quid for a billboard. I
Yeah,
thought it would be
seems
more than that.
In London
Do you
as
know,
well.
that
In
makes
London,
that makes a
which-
girl think.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all that space. Just think what I could do.
Yeah.
with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
What?
I'm gonna
What
get
could you
one.
do?
I don't like the way you went, oh, yeah.
What could you do?
Churchill dog, horrible.
Oh, yeah.
But he wants to get into telly, this guy, we should
I'm going to
say.
spend 500 quid, and it's going to be me with my arm round a grinning polar bear.
Oh, that'd
One
be nice.
flush a day, the responsible one, with a brimming lavatory in the
responsible way.
background. That's worth
We
500
could all
quid.
club together and do a Doctor Who poster for Frank coming soon.
We could club together and do one for this show, just a massive picture of us.
Well, we'll need
500.
to, absolutely,
The trouble
I'm
is
gonna
that
pay.
I suppose you have to make the poster and all that, though, don't
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can sort that out. I know people.
you? Okay, lovely.
Well, he used
have you
contacts,
got
I think.
a colour printer? We can
Yeah,
do it
but
in
it's-
panels, can't we?
We have, but it's often out of ink, so I'll see. I'll speak and we'll get back to you on that.
What
yeah?
about the photo? Do we photocopy it then? Oh, no.
Does
we
it
might
have to
need
be
do more.
colour?
No, we could do black and white.
Yeah, it'd be cheaper.
Film
wouldn't it?
noir.
We could just let's get a big white one and we can draw it.
Well, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. It was lovely to be back with you. I've missed you terribly. Goodbye.
Frank Skinner
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.